Are you single?
Yes.
Why?
Good question. Personally, I'm single because I have a set of beliefs about myself, about God, that I feel need to be matched. I need to be compatible with someone, and I've just not met that person. But then again, I don't live the kind of lifestyle where I can meet people easily either. So I've kind of set myself up here, to be fair.
When you say you're looking for a man that's you've got a certain relationship with God,
Yeah.
what does that mean for you're telling me that the man needs to have the same relationship or?
Yeah, I'd like the person to believe the same things as me. So to have a relationship with God would be important to me, because my faith plays a massive part in who I am and what I believe and how I carry myself.
I tell you why this is so funny that you said this. I didn't know this about you, right?
Okay. It's not showing. Lord, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not doing well.
It's got nothing to do with that. The reason why it's funny is because it's kind of a close to home situation with me, right?
Okay.
So the last woman I was dating was quite faith based, right? But I'm just so not.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's interesting. I don't think black women specifically. This is just my personal view. I don't think black women specifically understand men's dynamic when it comes to God.
Okay.
I think black women, specifically black women, maybe women in general, but specifically black women, view God differently than men do.
Okay.
And so the relationship, remember, God is described as a male figure. Do you get what I'm saying? Women gravitate towards male figures, just generally, right? If they display power and the things that and the attributes that they desire, they gravitate towards them. When it comes to God, yeah, this is just my personal opinion. People can rubbish it or whatever, right? And I don't mind. When it comes to God, God is a male figure, yeah? Women gravitate towards powerful male figures, right? Differently to how men gravitate towards powerful male figures. A man with his own, you can call it ego, he prefers to be the powerful male figure. Do you know what I mean? And so what I find is a lot of women don't get that men are not going to see God the same way that they see it. And what I feel like, this is just from my own personal experience, I feel like, because I'm not a God-fearing man, I'm just not. I don't believe in any of the Islamic or Judeo-Christian religions, right? And I can't see myself submitting to another man. The way I'm built, the way I've set up my own self, I can't see myself submitting to another man. I am the man that needs to be submitted to. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
And so you may view this because I'm not an atheist, by the way.
Okay.
But personally, I went through the same situation. So I had a woman. She was a very Christian woman. Yeah, we were dating. We loved everything about one another. But I'm just so not that. And I said, I can't see myself submitting to another man. Just based off my own system, the way I view the world. I don't view the world the same way. I don't view God as a male. I don't view God as a figure. It doesn't penetrate. It doesn't. For me, what God is, and I say it in parentheses, I'll say it in like quotation marks like that, is more than a book could ever teach me. It's more than a religion could ever teach me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what I did find is that she wanted a God-fearing man, right? Now, I'm going to be 100% totally honest, and a lot of people are not going to like this, yeah? In my view, a lot of Christian men,
Go for it. Do it.
a lot of Christian men are a little bit on
The pansy side.
right.
Go on.
Right, yeah? So, and I put that down to the fact that they're submitting to another man and they're not engaging their own masculinity, whereas they're giving their masculinity to someone else, and they say, no, you are ahead of me. Whereas I feel like a man should be the one that embraces that masculinity and becomes a leader.
The interesting thing about what you're saying is I don't disagree with you.
Right.
I feel like God is supposed to, God empowers the man to be the head of the house, to be the leader, to be the man. A God-fearing man could not be more masculine. So I find it interesting that you've seen it the other way around, because for me, a God-fearing man is extremely masculine. He can take decisions. He can see, he can prepare for the future. He is the prophet, priest, and king of the home. He is the one who has the final say. He, yes, absolutely should submit to God. He should submit to God, but the woman is to submit to him. And a God-fearing man who is fearing God appropriately will get that submission from a woman. And I feel like a God-fearing man, or a man in the house, especially in a long-term or a marriage situation, should be respected, should be revered, you know? I feel like God puts his mantle on a man and gives him the authority to execute like God would in that situation.
So let me just give you some statistics, yeah,
Go ahead.
because
When it comes
when it comes to the black church, yeah, they say around 70% of black churches are made up by women, black women.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And a lot of those women are single.
Okay.
Right? And that is not a coincidence. In just me looking at it, it's not, I'm just saying, it's not a coincidence, because
Yeah. Go on.
men don't view the thing the same way you lot view it. Like, they just don't view the thing.
I don't think they're supposed to.
Right. So so I'm a man and I see you and I'm like, all right, nice. All right, cool. Let me get to know her. Yeah. And you say, yeah, but church, innit?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but I'm about you, innit? And you're like, no, but church. And I'm like, no, I'm about you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And a lot of men are like that. A lot of men are about their woman.
Yes.
Before they're about some God, right? And so, but women are about, no, but God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, this is my situation. I was like, when it comes to nighttime, God ain't hugging you at nighttime. It's not God in your bed. Yeah? It's me. Yeah? So
I am taking a decision not to be offended by that.
right. But I'm just saying, innit? It's me. So as a man, that's the way I'm set up. I'm like, listen, I don't want to be hearing about no next man. Because if a next man, you're talking about a next man, regardless of who he is, I'm like, cool, go be with that man then. That's your man. Because I'm not. Because clearly you prefer that man over me.
Well, do you know what? I respect your position. I feel like this is a debate between two people. Well, not a debate, but this is a conversation between two people who have two very
polar, different.
Stances on this. But this is the reason why, for me personally, it would be important to be compatible with somebody who sees things the way I do.
Yeah.
Or at least.
But why did you agree with me when I said, because you said it, when I said that a lot of the Christian men are a little bit on there?
No, do you know what? I'm trying to identify.
You said pansy.
Yeah, to be fair.
That was your words now.
They were my words. I don't take them back.
Right.
But I was trying to identify with you.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Personally, I'll be honest, no, I haven't. I've seen God-fearing men who are very confident, very ready to take charge, very capable, and I feel like they root their standards and their beliefs in something that is a little bit more substantial than what society or what media would tell them.
I hear that.
And because, for me personally, the standard of God is unwavering, it doesn't shift, it doesn't change, you can take that to the bank. If you put these principles in place, you can have yourself a very good life. And I feel like the marriage dynamic or the relationship dynamic that is described in the Bible is really effective for a prosperous life, prosperous relationship.
Okay.
It feeds well into society in terms of a unit that is together. And I'm not here to disrespect any relationship where, you know, the couple are not believers or they're not Christian. But what I'm saying is, for me personally, my view and my belief is that my faith is so important to who I am that I would like to be with somebody who has that as well. Because there are even practical issues in terms of, you know, if we should get to the place of expanding the family and having children, how are we raising them? What views are we sharing with them?
It's the same conversation I had with this woman.
Yeah, it's
same conversation.
And that could, and right now we're talking about like religion. That could basically be almost anything. You know, I might believe that I want my son to be a doctor. You might want, say we have a child, you want the boy to be an engineer, and here we are, you know, conflicting views, and the poor boy is confused. It'd be so much safer psychologically
to grow the children in
an environment that's conducive. So mum and dad believe
100%.
this, and this is where I stand. And then obviously I'm not here
but doesn't it grow the child's mind to view things differently from both perspectives and then come to their own conclusion?
I believe a child should come to their own conclusion.
Right.
And I believe that even becoming a Christian is a very personal decision.
100%.
I've been to church my whole life, you know. It didn't stop me from doing the things that I did. It didn't stop me from going the path that I went down. I've done some things that I'm not proud of. And I've come to the realization that those are things... Exactly. But for me, I've come to the realization that those things were not going to benefit me. And my faith has led me to the place where I can now do things a different way.
Yeah, but do you think, remember this, you go to church and you've seen the congregation, you know it's mostly women.
Yeah, for that I agree. Yeah.
And single.
Yeah, painfully I agree.
Why? I'm just going to ask you why. Because I've
what?
got my own reason. Why?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't done any research into this area like you have.
Give me your opinion then.
My own personal, even anecdotal experience is that there just aren't a lot of believing guys in the church. There aren't a lot of people that see things. A lot of the guys that are in church are potentially married already.
Yes.
So...
And a lot of women put the pastor in a very high position. Because he displays the characteristics that they see in a man, or they want in a man, right? So the pastor being that head guy, right? A lot of women look at that guy, whether consciously or subconsciously, and say, that's the type of man that I want, you know?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how to address that, because for me personally, I speak for myself. I've never done that before.
Okay, fair enough.
I've never looked at a man on the stage and thought, that's the kind of man.
Okay, so you see, if we're going somewhere different now, yeah? So you see the SPAC Nation thing, like with the Pastor Toby guy, right? I'm of the opinion only a man could have done that. A woman could not have done that. A woman could not have fleeced and finessed and defrauded people out of so much money, yeah? A whole congregation, a woman could not have done that.
I feel bad because...
You don't know what I'm talking about.
I do.
A woman couldn't have done that. Because he displays that male power, masculinity, leadership qualities, because a lot of his victims were women. A lot of the people that got defrauded out of money were women.
The unfortunate thing about that ministry is it's got a lot of bad press. I can't speak bad or good about it. I've never been to that church before.
Okay, fair enough.
But there are, unfortunately, there are videos, there are documentaries that have gone on about, that have gone on about some of the stuff that's gone on in that church. One of which actually is about a woman who has defrauded some of the members and even men out of a lot of money.
Under the banner of Pastor Toby.
Okay, yeah, she's not one of the... Well, I think she's a pastor in the church.
She's one of the deacons or whatever.
She's an elder in the church, basically, but she's not the head of the church in the way that you're describing.
She's working for him.
Yeah, she's under him. Okay, so obviously it's not a competition. It's wickedness, and if it's true, then it's bad. You know, I'm not condoning any of it, but I just feel like if there are women who are idolizing their pastors, that's a mistake.
Let's get back onto relationship style, though.
Yeah,
Let's get back on
because
relationships.
now we're addressing the church, and I'm just sort of like,
I hear you. Let me read this then. So lately, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts by women, and apparently, a lot of this new generation of women seem to think that narcissism is cool. A lot of them seem to want a man they hardly know to take them to expensive restaurants and spend big money on them. A lot of them seem to think that if a man won't do this, then there's something wrong with him. The Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders categorizes narcissism as a mental illness. The symptoms include an exaggerated sense of self-importance, a sense of entitlement that requires constant and excessive admiration, expect special favors and unquestioning compliance with their expectations, insist on having the best of everything, for instance, the best car or office. I think this new generation of women are becoming narcissistic. What man would want to be with a narcissist? I wish you all luck in healing from this mental illness, and please, peace. Sips Supermalt. Boom. Thoughts?
from the jump, I think that narcissism is, I don't know how you can determine a narcissist from one or two encounters. I feel like that's something that manifests in a relationship. It's not something that I would assume. I wouldn't assume a narcissist because, you know, maybe the girl has decided that she wants to go to a particular restaurant, and if the guy doesn't take her there, then he's not serious. I don't know how a guy would pick that up as narcissism straight away, especially if, say, for example, a girl in that scenario has been through some stuff and she's valued herself and she has confidence in herself, wants to be treated a certain way, and has had experiences of, you know, being like compromising in a certain area and not getting anything out of the scenario that she's in. Mind you, I think because it's a mental disorder according to that definition, narcissism doesn't just sit with women.
I agree.
It's a mind state. It's a belief. So anybody could be a narcissist. So to say women are narcissists is a bit...
I'm not saying, that's not a general statement. I'm not saying women are narcissists.
Okay.
I'm saying this new generation, from what I can see, are becoming very narcissistic. Because I listen to the way in which they want men, to pay. For instance, if you listen to a lot of female rappers, for instance, right, they talk about a nigga gotta have this and a nigga gotta have that. You gotta spend money on me, and basically what seems, and a lot of this new generation champion that type of thinking, right? And so they champion that type of thinking, and then what happens is, for me, it becomes what is called a transactional relationship, which means there's a transaction going on. I pay, you give.
Okay.
So a lot of girls are saying, if you spend on me, you'll get the goodies.
Right.
To me, there's only one way, or one thing I know from what me growing up, is if I pay for you and you give me the goodies, that's called something.
Prostitution.
Right, that's called prostitution.
Right.
But it's not called that in these days and times. It's called feminism, or me getting the bag, or like me just taxing these guys. And it's called something else. But in me growing up, if I pay for something and I know I'm trying to get something in return, which is that's prostitution. And that is what, for me, I see a lot of women, not younger generation, 20s, maybe teens, talking about, like, a guy's got to have this and he's got to spend on her. First date, he's got to take her to Novikov, he's got to take her to Hakkasan, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, why would a guy that you hardly know spend £200-300 on a first date with you if in, say, a month's time, I may not even know you? We may just be strangers in about a month's time, because I don't know where it's going. Do you know what I mean? But me being someone who's been in a long-term relationship, I was in a relationship for 10 years. Like, my last proper relationship was for 10 years. I understand what grand gestures are. And so a grand gesture to me would be something on a birthday, Valentine's Day, anniversary, I don't mind taking a woman to Novikov or Hakkasan and spending £200 and it's her birthday. Get it. It's fine. But for you're a stranger. What makes you think I'm going to spend that money on you? What makes you think you're getting princess treatment and you're not my princess?
Well, see, I feel like a vicious cycle's been started here because even narcissism in the first place started with a guy who looked at himself in the river and fell in love with
himself, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like men have started, where it's fair to say, I don't know, but there's a lot of studies that say that men generally are more narcissistic than women.
Right.
And I feel like it's a learned behavior that's going round. So women are feeling like they have to, get something out of the situation before they walk away from it or are made to walk away from it or whatever the case may be.
So you're saying women are trying to get something before the thing
It's basically quitting before they're sacked.
Right.
For some women.
Okay.
And I feel like,
so at least they can say, well, at least I got this out of it.
Some women are fickle like that and they will turn around and say, well, you know what? He got me a car, innit? I'm not going in there if I'm not going to get what I need out of it because he's going to get what he wants. So I need to get something out of it as well.
Pause, stick a pin there, sorry. When you say he's going to get what he wants, you're acting as if sex is just something that men want.
Well...
Women want it too.
I'm generalizing quite painfully here, right? Because obviously it's not every man and every woman that's like that. And it's not... sex is not necessarily the end goal in every situation.
Right.
But I just feel like, especially if it's fair to say amongst young people, that tends to be the cycle that we're in. And so guys will boast about the girls they've had. And so now girls are boasting about the guys they've had. The language, the whole dynamic has changed. Not that I'm in support of any of it, but I just feel like a woman who seemingly values herself shouldn't be seen as narcissistic. In the same way, a woman might say, well, if he wants to take me to a bar where it's £15 a cocktail, that might give me the idea that he takes care of himself, that he likes nice things, that he wants to do nice things with me, So if he is saying, our first, don't get me wrong, no disrespect to anybody that's been to Nando's on their first date, but if a chicken and chips is where you're at, and you've unfortunately taken someone out that was hoping that you would have aimed a bit higher than that, you might say she's narcissistic, but she might say, well, actually, I valued you more than that. I actually valued what we had more than that. We've been communicating for a while. We seem to be getting along. You're saying, let's meet up. I've dressed up, put on my Fenty. I've come to meet you. And
I mean,
we're not doing anything.
I'm guessing that would have been established before you even got out. Like, where are we going?
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's...
You're going to dress up to go Nando's?
We don't know we're going Nando's. It depends on the situation. If we're talking, we're communicating, let's meet up, what you doing on Saturday? Okay, meet me in Brixton by the station at 6. Oh, where are we going? Now it's all exciting, don't know where we're going. We're walking 50 yards up the road to go get chicken and chips. Do you see what I mean? As a woman, she might think, well, I kind of hoped he would have valued this scenario a bit more than that. I would have liked to have thought that he himself would like to go somewhere
But aren't you trying to get to know the person?
Sure.
More so than caring about the surroundings in which you are when you're trying to get to know them.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like, okay, so I've been on dates, right? So I've taken a woman to a park, right? I've laid out a picnic. Do you know what I mean? And in that scenario, I've gotten to know who she is. We've had conversation.
Good.
The trees are there, nature's there, birds are chirping, whatever.
Good.
I didn't have to take you to Hakkasan, because me taking you to Hakkasan or Novikov, doesn't mean I'm actually going to get to know you. If I'm trying to get to know you, I'm trying to get to know you.
Right.
Isn't that more important than the surroundings and what you're in?
Yes, I would say that. But then also, we're in a society where peacocking is very common. Right. Everybody's trying to show the car, the red bottoms. Everyone's in competition with each other. So for example, a guy might say, I can't take this girl to the park because she's going to think I can't handle myself. She's going to think she's going to take me for a waste man. And furthermore, if it is the case in that,
But that's insecurity.
Sure, but narcissism has that.
No, I'm seeing on the man's side. I'm saying.
But in any case,
Yeah.
If you look at it, some of the definitions, sometimes there's an insecurity that's underlying all of this built up sort of I need to have this, I need to have that.
Yeah.
It's there's a baseline of because maybe I'm not good enough.
Right.
So you kind of deceive yourself into a false sense of security so that you can actually present yourself the best you can. But meanwhile, the basis of it is not legit, if you see what I'm trying to say.
You're touching on something there. So you saying that the interactions between men and women nowadays, generally, a lot of it is based on both parties' insecurities.
I think so. I think there's gaps in how people value themselves, the standards they use to judge themselves, the way they view the world. I feel like a lot of things, and we can do the whole, media and whatever else, it plays a part in how people view the world, how people make decisions, how people relate to each other. So I might be a young person who is influenced by what I see and have decided somehow that a guy who drives a Mercedes is going to be able to look after me. That's
In what way? Financially, you mean?
Yeah, to provide me security.
Will he be able to look after you emotionally?
But that wasn't the question I asked.
Right,
Do you
okay.
see what I mean?
Okay.
I wasn't making that investigation. I was looking at it like, well, he has a house of his own. He doesn't live with his parents. He's got a good job and he drives a nice car. I'm going to be okay. So
there are
there's
a lot
a
of
gap.
women. There are a lot of women living in nice houses, driving nice cars,
Agreed.
who are absolutely sad to their core because of the man that they've chosen.
Agreed. And that's what I'm trying to get at. The gaps are there where people have tried to use other people to fill those gaps when really it's a self-development. It's healing from traumas. It's working through the things that are negative in a person's personality or character that gets them to the next level. So for example, I might have had a string of past relationships that haven't ended well. So the next guy that comes along, I've got my guard way up.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you see what I mean? So I'm thinking to myself, well, all the guys I've been with before never drove. I met them all on the bus. So the next guy needs to drive a BMW.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it ain't happening because I don't want to go there. Now, that doesn't
Which
mean...
doesn't guarantee happiness.
No, it doesn't at all. But at least it covers one of those traumas. It
Right.
makes up for the stress that I've had. I don't want to worry about that. So the next guy is going to have this.
Right.
So whether or not I'm narcissistic in that scenario would be dependent on how the guy views me. Me, myself, a narcissist doesn't know they're narcissist, surely. I love myself. I'm confident. I need to have the best.
Yeah, they don't know that
They
they're
don't know that
displaying
they've got
these behaviours.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It takes for an outsider to be like, why does this person feel like they deserve all of this?
Yeah.
She's never lifted a finger, but she
Right.
wants me to give her this.
Yes.
She don't cook, she don't clean, she don't do nothing, and she expects me to come home and do everything. This woman is a narcissist.
The song WAP with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
The way I hate that
She
song.
said, Cardi B said, I don't cook, I don't clean. But she was busting it open.
Well.
And the thing is, a lot of...
But that's the transactional thing you're talking about.
Right.
Because at least she's giving something up.
But what's she giving up?
The WAP.
Right. So I'm saying, so is this the value then? Is that the value of a woman now? Just a WAP?
I feel like that's the agenda that's been propagated from the beginning, from long time.
Long time ago.
When our grandmothers were in the discotheque.
Yeah.
That's been the whole point. Guys want sex. Sex sells.
But but that's the thing. Do girls not want sex? This is the thing, right? They say guys want, nah, they do. We do. We're guys. But women don't play like you don't want sex too. So when you're talking about, oh yeah, he wants this, you want that too,
I think the
love.
dynamic has changed, definitely. The generation that we're in now, I mean...
A lot of girls want it more than guys.
Yeah. You get girls who go through hoe phases. You get girls who, it shows a certain empowerment and independent, like that whole independent woman thing, But I think it's because I won't speak for every woman, But I feel like there's something there about how women view men and how men have been portrayed for, like I say, from the beginning of time, to be driven by what they see, by things that are attractive. And oftentimes it's going to be the man who initiates sex. Maybe not so much anymore. I see the look you're giving me. Maybe not so much anymore. But it's going to be, generally speaking, it's going to be the dude that's chasing after the girl with the big bum and the big boobs.
But she knows.
Because that's a sexual being.
But
to a
she
guy.
knows that can trap a man. Or trap.
Exactly.
That can get a man.
Exactly.
So you're saying.
So she will use her sexuality.
She accents that.
Yeah. So she can enhance that
now
to
remember,
get what she's looking for.
The feminists will say, no, we dress like this for ourselves.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So you got, I don't know, I'm just saying. You're saying that, we dress for ourselves.
I think femininity is found in the way a woman presents herself, the way she carries herself. And depending on how well or how badly that's done, you'll attract a particular type of guy. So if you're the girl that's walking around with nipple covers and batty riders, you're going to attract a particular type of guy, and chances are that guy's just going to want to sleep with you, you know? And I feel like girls who know that, or girls that have mastered that area of their sexuality, will do that to get what they're looking for. And in their heads, it's just sex. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Because as far as they're concerned, like you say, it's transactional.
Right.
So you want to sleep with me, fine. As long as I feel like you've earned it, you can sleep with me. Some girls might have that mindset. Like, you know what? As long as you've given me the car, look, you want to sex me, fine. It's going to cost you 20 grand. You got to fly me first class.
Which is
Dubai.
what?
It is the equivalent of prostitution.
Right, okay.
It is the equivalent because you're selling sex, basically.
Right.
So as long as a woman can feel like the transaction has panned out in her favor, she might not feel so bad to do it. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Right.
I just think
no, I get you.
We're trying our best to rationalize or justify the behavior so that women don't feel used, or don't feel trapped in a situation. They can justify this behavior by saying, well, at least I got a car. Well,
so do you feel like,
at least he gave me 3 babies.
Do you feel like this whole, you got to spend on me, I'll give you it, but you got to spend X, Y, and Z, like you just said, is a defense mechanism for not feeling used?
Yeah. I feel like it is part of the guard that goes up where women are trying to protect themselves from being mugged off by guys who were never really interested in them in the first place. But then I feel like a lot of that, you can circumvent a lot of that by asking some very real questions of yourself. You know, who are you? What is your value? What are you looking for in life? What are your standards? And sticking by those will get you a lot further than wearing a thong and going to, mate, some of the, I've seen.
Oh, yeah, talk.
Some of the outfits, Charlie. Sometimes I've had to ask myself, who are this girl's parents? What is her story? Because like you say, it is nothing short of prostitution. But again, I feel like women are encouraged to explore their sexuality. Women are encouraged to be empowered and feel like they can dominate a situation. They don't have to be controlled by a guy. They can say yes or no if they want to. And I'm not against any of that.
That's normal.
There's nothing wrong with that. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I feel like we make a mistake when we place our value in sex, in our bodily organs.
But that's what's going on nowadays, though.
Yeah, personally, I feel like it's a mistake. I feel like there's a lot more to a woman than that, and I feel like if a woman is prepared to do that investigation, they will find that they can attract a guy that will value them and appreciate them for who they really are. But I feel like when we're treading, like, again, to go back to the original issue of narcissism, I feel like women who are becoming narcissists, like you say, in this generation where they're becoming narcissists or narcissistic in their behavior and in their thinking, I feel like it goes back to these underlying insecurities, a defense mechanism, a wall that goes up to protect a woman from feeling used. Whereas for a guy, I don't know much for a guy's mindset, but a guy might, like, I've spoken to some guys in the past where their whole mindset has been, you know, I've got to get this and I've got to get that. Otherwise, I can't get this kind of girl. I can't get this kind of life. So they put a lot of pressure on themselves.
Yeah, that's another insecurity too. Yeah.
So they put a lot of pressure on themselves to have the best car, the best house, the best looking girl. I know some guys that have gone for girls that clearly go for a certain type of guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the curvy, like designer, you know, it's that sort of lifestyle. So, you know, as a guy, she's already showing you those vibes. Like, look, this is the life I live. You know, this is the level I'm on. And a guy that wants a girl like that has to now come up to that level. And for a lot of them, it's pressure. And they become narcissistic in their thinking to get there. I've got to get this car. Why? Like, you go to the club and you're popping bottles, but you're borrowing the money. You know, you're asking your friend to put petrol money in the car so that you can get to the club to show off, to say, like, it's all really,
it's all insecurity.
It's all insecurities to me. Like, I've heard of people that are renting designer clothes these days. Shout out to the person who started that business, in it, because they'll know what generation we're in. Yeah, that person understands the generation we're in.
Renting designer clothes.
Somebody has put their foot in the shoe.
Already.
It's not bowling.
Yeah.
You put your foot in the shoe.
It's not bowling.
And you're wearing it. You know, you just think, why is it so important?
Yeah.
Why does it? Because I feel like we're unfortunately at that time where, you know, amongst ourselves as young people, we are in competition. We've all got to be seen to have the best, but...
So this, I can speak from my own personal experience when it comes to that. Relationships. Like, I don't feel like I'm in competition with anyone but myself. If I'm listen, I'm literally that person. If I'm happy with myself, I'm good. If someone's not happy with me, so be it. But if I'm happy with myself, when I lay my head down on my pillow at night time and I'll be like, you know what, are you okay with yourself, bro? I say, yeah, I'm all right, actually. I'm good.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I think if human beings can get to a point where they can be happy with themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This stuff will start to dissipate. It will start to disappear.
Agreed.
And I truly do believe that a lot of this stuff, when it comes to male-female interaction, is based on both male and females not being happy with who they are.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. But can I ask you a question then?
Go on then.
So, say for example, you are that man who has studied, you have worked hard, you've got to a point in life where you are comfortable financially, emotionally, spiritually, you are good. But you have visions for yourself. Your ambitions are far-reaching and you are prepared to put the work in to get it done. But you've decided in your mind and in your heart that I must have this. I should be here. When I get to this age, I am going to get this. And now I come along, me being me, we're talking, we're interacting, I think we're cool. And then I step into your space and I can see that maybe, you know, I'm not really, I don't drive a Porsche like you do. I don't have a concierge like you do. I don't have drapes that cost me $5,000 like you do. Am I fair to say that you're displaying narcissistic characteristics in that scenario? Because you're basically telling me I need to have the best of everything, because otherwise it just doesn't fit.
I think, right, to go back on that, I think that if you chase things, this is just my own personal view. I want success for myself. I want the best for my family, my friends. But success is subjective. So if you chase things, you will never be happy. Because once you get a thing, you're going to want another thing. Once you get one thing, you're going to want another thing. And so where does the happiness come? So my success in myself is not based on things.
Okay.
In other people's eyes, it means, listen, I may be able to afford 5 mansions. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy them.
I receive it for you.
Amen. It doesn't mean that I'm going to buy 5 mansions. It just means that things don't validate me. And the older I've got, the more I kind of surround myself with people who value themselves, because I'm surrounded by people who are like very successful, right? Multi-millionaires. Do you know what I mean? But if you looked at them, you wouldn't think so. Do you know what I mean? But it's a thing of the reason why I surround myself with those type of people successful, because they realize that success is not in showing what you've got.
Okay.
The success is being who you are.
Okay.
And a lot of people can't even look themselves in the mirror and be happy with who they are. A lot of people are running because when people are trying to get things, they're really running from who they are. Right. In my point of view, like you want to be happy, but you're chasing something to be happy. Why is the happiness not coming from here? Okay. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I said I can afford 5 mansions. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna buy 5 mansions. Okay. It just means that if I can afford it, I might buy them and give them to someone else. Because that might make them happy. That's really not what makes me happy. So if, to answer your question, you come into my scenario where I've got Porsches and 5 grand drapes and concierge, I'm just going to be like, listen, like, if this is my life, it doesn't mean that that's what validates you. If you need to find what validates you, my stuff shouldn't validate you. Okay. You need to find what validates you.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Just because of the shadow. Film the blood clot thing, man. Large up my God, my dog. You see me? Large up my yacht. My yacht.
I potentially need to do something.
Sorry, I've got a little bit too much alcohol.
Hey, I got 2 alcohol.
You're there on the filmling thing. The flimling. Yeah,
flimling. Bartender, give me 2 alcohol. Give me 2.
Which one? Just 2 alcohol. How would I come round my Christianity?
Stupid little.
Fuck off, Michelle.
Have you got a hairy chest?
Nope.
Oh, what a blessing.
Do you want to see?
I used to date someone.
I'm better than that. No, you ain't. No, you ain't.
Yes, you are, Michelle. Yes, you are.
I'm probably shining like a motherfucker. I know I got a fucking shiny face.
Do you want some foundation?
No, thank you very much. But you see the way my manhood set up, yeah?
No. You won't even see.
Oh, yeah?
You won't even see.
Move yourself.
Look at somebody. Look at somebody. What a narcissist.
No, the narcissist will be the one like, yes, give me all the foundation.
Slather me up in there.